Unlike my other videos, this one isn't going to have a script written for it. I'm more or less just going to be reading off something that's going to be shown on screen, and then I'm going to be giving my commentary as we go along. While I don't have a proper script written, I do have a basic outline for how I want this video to be structured, and I plan on giving timestamps in the description of the video so you know when each section begins or ends. Also, the document I'm going to be reading will be linked in the description below as well. If you want to follow along on your browser, you can. The folder the document is in will also be available for download for anyone who wants a copy of the files. There are two more things I'm going to mention before we get started. The first is that after this document was posted publicly, Horse decided to change their name and go by Griff. I'm going to be using Horse and Griff interchangeably throughout this video to avoid confusion. The second thing I'm going to bring up is the fact that Magpie, the person who Griff accused, has said that they do not want to be messaged or tagged in any posts about this drama, even if it's in support of them in this situation. Everything you need to know about this drama will be in this video and in this video's description. With all that being said, let's get on with the video. For this section, I'm not going to be cutting out any audio mistakes I make, just because I worry if I tamper with the audio too much, I'm going to mess up the video and the audio is not going to line up with the video properly. So if I make a mistake like stuttering, inhaling into the microphone on accident, we're just gonna have to live with it. We're just gonna have to roll. Okay, so this is the post that includes the callout document on my Tumblr. It's pinned to the top of the Tumblr if you want to visit it. It's just Lemon Chan on Tumblr. And I'm not going to read through all of this just because it's out there. You'll be able to see it if you go onto my Tumblr and read this. But I do want to bring attention to these two paragraphs right here. This is the link to the folder. There are two distinct links here. This is to the overview, and the overview is up here, and it'll look like this. It's a PDF of all the slides of all the documents we have, or all of the evidence we have, screenshots wise, and commentary about the drama in general. And then we do have some which will have like external links, like here if you see underlined text, there's going to lead to a PDF or image file to give more context to a topic being talked about. Ignore this. These web files will need to be reviewed on a computer, otherwise images will be too blurry to read. We thought that would be the case, and then we had people come in and say, hey, I'm actually able to read these PDF documents really well on mobile. They're not blurry or grainy at all. So just ignore that. You shouldn't have to view the external documents on a computer. But if you go to the folder link, it'll look more like this. It's a Google Drive folder. It'll look like this when you first enter in, and it has the extra files, which are basically the same as the related files, but it's just things that we weren't able to add in right away, things that we just didn't add in at all, like mob, like videos, screen recordings, and just a PNG that didn't get added to the actual document, but was still important enough for us to keep in. And then we have related files, and the related files have the slide that they appear on in their name, followed by like a brief explanation of what they're supposed to be. So you're not able to get lost on this. You should be able to find things very easily if you follow the links and know exactly like what they're referring to. So you can keep up with the slides if you want to on your own time. I'll put the link to those in the description of this video. And it's also like, okay, so on Google Docs you're able to download it anyway whenever you log in, and I encourage you to. I want these files to be everywhere and anywhere because I just don't like the fact that Horse has like continued to spread these lies about Magpie for the entire time, and we'll get to that in a second. But I think that if as many people have these files as possible, that's fantastic, because it's less of a chance for these files to be taken away or like reported and taken down. So if like more copies of these exist, the better. So there's also a link on Dropbox if you want me to give that to you. Just DM me on Tumblr and I can get it to you. So after this post dropped, after I made this post online, Horse/Griff started accusing me of harassing and stalking them, like rallying an attack on them because of this document. This is basically to say this is not meant to be an attack on anyone who levied the claims against Magpie. This is not a call to harassment. This needs to be out in the open so this drama inside the Woodbane community can cease. Because if you, by the end of this video, it will be very clear why this needed to be made, because this has been going on for the better part of like 2 years. It's insane how long this has been going on for. And then here's a direct message from Magpie regarding the situation. They had no hand in making the document. I approached them and asked them for clarification on a few things, but like other than them giving me a few screenshots and making sure that I wasn't I wasn't portraying their side incorrectly, they never laid eyes on the document. I don't think that I never gave them the invite link. I don't think that anyone really showed them actual like screen recordings of the document when they were reading through it. So I don't even think Magpie's seen this document. They did not have a hand in making this, hardly at all. I was approached by people asking for my side of the evidence. That is true. I was constantly in his DMs being like, "Hey, what's this? Can you answer this for me?" Never looked at Horse's posts. They actually have Horse blocked, I'm pretty sure. So they don't have to see Horse's posts. Or I don't know if they have Horse blocked or if they have the tags that Horse commonly use blocked. They don't look at a lot of things on Tumblr regarding the Woodbane community anyway. Please don't message me about this. This has been going on for over a year now. I don't want to focus on negativity. I already provided a lot of information to the people who made this doc. Yes, everything you need to know about this drama is in this document or in this video. You do not need to message Magpie about this. They've made that very clear. They want to be left alone, even if your message is in support. I appreciate it. They appreciate it. But they don't want to be tagged in any posts about this. That's why I'm not tagging them in this post. That's why I'm not tagging them in this video. I'm not going to share this video to them. They want to be left alone on this. They do not condone any kind of harassment towards anyone, including anyone mentioned in this document. I did not ask for this document to be made. Actually, for a long time, I actively discouraged people from doing it because I thought it was unnecessary. When I tell you, I had to convince Magpie to let me make this document because they were like, no, I don't want to like drag this drama back into it. I don't want to like a Horse think that I care because I don't. Like I've moved on past it. But Horse has been doing stuff for a long time. Like I have screenshots in this document that I'm going to be talking about soon, ranging from December 2023, where they're just shit talking Magpie. So I told Magpie, I said, listen, they're not going to stop. There's something that needs to be done, and I think that this is the only way to get them to shut up. And they said, fair enough. Multiple slanderous claims have been made against me. Horse does not seem to have stopped. I figured I would provide my side of things to people who asked us to give answers to anyone who might have heard of this situation. This document is in no way meant to encourage bullying of any kind. Please stay safe, anyone. Yes, do not go and harass the people who made this, or the people who made the claims against Magpie. I don't want anyone to be like harassing them. If you see their posts and if you see them talking bad about Magpie, I would encourage you to link the document in their post and be like, hey, aren't you the person who was called out in this? And then have them like answer for it. But other than that, I don't want you to go into their spaces and like call them names or anything like that. Yeah, alright, with that being said, let's get into the actual document. Righty. So it's going back up. This is a direct message from Magpie. It's basically just going over what I already talked about, like in the Tumblr post, so we don't have to read through that. You can pause to read it if you want. It's mainly the same thing I just got done reading on the Tumblr page, so we're just going to skip on past that. We do have a table of contents here, so if you do follow along with the slides on your own time, or if you want to follow along with this video, these are what all the slides are going to cover. And I wanted to include this because I know that 107 pages is a lot to throw at somebody at once, and I wanted to put some semblance of order and neatness to it so it didn't look like I was just throwing a whole bunch of information at you without any organization to it. Alright, disclaimer and important details. This is Lemon Chan. I'm new to this drama. Before Griff responded to a post I made on Tumblr, I had no prior knowledge about anything that happened between Horus and Magpie. I made this document after being approached by or approaching others about the accusations to ask if they had any evidence to either confirm or deny what was said about Magpie, and was provided ample information. The screenshots of so I got screenshots from a whole bunch of different sources. This paragraph right here. I got screenshots from a whole bunch of different sources. Some of them lived in the UK, some of them lived in like the US, some of them lived in Australia. So time zones don't exactly match up and the dates can be read a little funny. But if it's ever important, I will tell you in the screenshot or in the slide I mean how the date is meant to be read. Excuse me. Magpie's pronouns are he, they. I will be referring to him as such for the entirety of this document. Some screenshots will depict people as referring to Magpie as she, her. This is not the misgendering Magpie, that is just reflective of how he wished to be identified at the time. I just wanted to put this here to let you know, like, people in this document are not misgendering Magpie. I know how it would look to some people not in the know. So I just want to put that out there again to kind of avoid people getting attacked in screenshots for misgendering Magpie. we already went over this. See underlined red text, there's a PDF file. All names other than Magpie, Horse, and this includes Horse's relevant alt accounts, Lace and Mug, have been censored, as I don't believe they are relevant to the conversation. I will make sure the colors on the censored names are different so you can tell when multiple people other than the key four are speaking. Excuse me. I have no idea why I'm coughing so much today. I'm going to go ahead and click on this. Okay. So this is basically a document of all of Horse's alts. Keep in mind this is going to be slightly outdated just because by the time this video was made and put out, several of these accounts were either locked, like this ProShip Belos account on Twitter is locked, it's private, you can't see it. But yeah, if you can look, they're the exact same. You can tell this is Horse, Apocalyptic Horse. They use this for a lot of their other users, so it's not hard to identify them here. And also the same call out that they've done for every other account that they've made also. And then again, Parasitic Potentate. I don't know how to pronounce that. Sorry if I butchered that. This is them saying like, yeah, this is ProShip Belos, and then this is them saying like, this is their 18+ blog, Parasitic. So just letting you know, there are going to be multiple instances of them posting messages or just screenshots of these specific accounts, and I just wanted to let you guys know that, yep, ProShip Positivity from Tumblr. This is the only one that I know. This and they deleted this one very quickly. They deleted this one, which I thought was very funny because this is the account that they originally introduced me to the drama with. Faithverse is the other one that's also up, and you can see Horse 27. That age is a bit outdated. This was made a few years ago, but yeah. So Faithverse and ProShip Positivity are the ones you need to remember. The other ones are discontinued. And then for this last one, we don't have any way to confirm that this is actually them, but because like it's an alt account, they don't post anything else using this, I don't think. But Dreams Cancelled 30+ non-white, that both describes Horse. If you look at their other account bios, I think that there's something in the document where they say like, oh, they're mixed, and they're over 30. So this description matches them, and just you can tell based on how they write this message, like the exact name of the call out post that Horse made, and they just the exact same message across all blogs. So it's really easy to tell whenever it's them, even if it's not explicitly stated. But yeah, so going back to the overview, Horse's relevant alts, just keep those accounts in mind whenever we're moving forward. The accusations. So you kind of get an idea of what the accusations are up here, but this is where we kind of have a file leading out that has the screenshot of them saying what the accusations are specifically in the post. So this is, again, like, see, this is the account that introduced me to this drama, like I said. Then, like, this, we were having a conversation about someone on Tumblr. Again, if you go back to this slide, you can read through the original Tumblr conversation here that involves this person. I'm not going to put it in, just because I think it's unnecessary. And then, like, here we have first contact, but let's get back to the initial accusations real quick. Exploited me to grow their platform in the fandom, slandered me to all of their friends and followers, stole my artwork, or just stole my work, claiming it was their own, tried to steal from a different friend but covered it up and pretended that it didn't happen when said friend called them out on it, sat back and did nothing while their friends went out their way to stalk and harass me and my other friends. Oh. Keep in mind, stalking and harassing to Horse is going into their public discords after being let in and asking for evidence. We will see that later. Saw no issues with doxing our discords. One of their friends is a groomer. Owes me a relatively large amount of money. My friend Lace is completely off the internet. It's big. It's there's a lot to cover in these, just because, like, they threw a whole bunch at me and didn't even bother to back any of it up in this post. I had to search long and hard for any evidence they could potentially have, and I got a whole bunch of it here. And then, of course, here's first contact to kind of prove that I wasn't friends with Magpie or Horse before this. This is sort of my first introduction to this drama, being Horse's message and then somebody messaging me. So December 4th, this was in the morning, like really, really early morning. I think it was midnight or maybe 1 a.m. for me. They messaged me saying, like, they had, like, this is the this is the date that they messaged me, and then after that, like, I think it was about an hour after that, this person who was Magpie's friend messaged me at 1:30. Okay, yeah. So I saw it and I wasn't going to respond to it. I saw this and I wasn't going to respond to it because it was late and it was Christmas Eve. I didn't want to deal with it. And this person messaged me, and they were really respectful, were really nice, and they were very calm and were willing to give me information regarding what I asked. And after we had a nice long conversation after we had a nice long conversation about this after these screenshots end, but they were very pleasant, and I thank them for that. And every interaction I've had with Horse had been snippy, and they didn't want. It felt like they were projecting really hard. The entire conversation with everything, and then my friends sending me screenshots of them in their server, basically, like, trash talking me in their server, or like talking about doing stuff to spite me in their server while we were in the middle of having like what I was trying to have a mature conversation with them. It left a bad taste in my mouth. So this very calm and calculated, or not calculated, but very calm and understanding and sincere, was very much appreciated by me. So yeah, so that was first contact, December 24th. That was when I was first introduced to this drama, and I had no interaction with Magpie or any of their friends before that day. Then then brief. So we're going to get into one of the accusations now of the story with Lace. Brief explanation. Chinchilla Lace, or Lace for short, was run off the internet, or they left the internet. And Horse blames Magpie and likes to say that Magpie orchestrated an attack on Lace's server to out them as a pro shipper back in late August 2022. Horse has also tried to claim Magpie tricked Lace into befriending them because they were jealous of their server. Below are just a couple of the many instances Horse has brought up this accusation. Again, pro ship Bellows. You can see them bringing up the Lace thing, and then this is their CEO. CEO is their Discord handle. They are once again bringing up the Lace thing, insulting Magpie and co in the process. And some context: Lace was banned from a previous server. From going against server rule. I think they were actually banned from 3 servers, like a handful of servers they were banned from because once they were banned for one thing, the other servers who were like affiliated with the server they got banned from, like caught wind and also banned them. So you can kind of see how they've reacted to that. And like again, this isn't meant to be an attack on Lace. One, because they're not online anymore. You can't find them. But 2, because like this and how they behave paints a very clear picture of what will go down and why it went down the way that it did. And this is just to kind of add some perspective on their behavior. You can pause and read these if you want to. This basically just Chinchilla Lace complaining after they were banned from the servers, and seeing how they respond to that. And then down here, the context for this is basically saying that this was a DM basically saying, hey, this wasn't a DM between this person and me. This was a DM that somebody else shared with me. I can't remember who. And they said, talking with Mug, and I find it absolutely batshit that Horse is convinced Mug orchestrated everything and wanted Chinchilla Lace to die or something. Like, Mug had nothing to do with what was happening in that server. We didn't even know Mug beforehand, and nobody told Chinchilla Lace to. The person who actually orchestrated the event even begged for them to get therapy. And then, like, here's the server mod that, like, banned Chinchilla Lace. And we can tell that, like, despite how they reacted to getting banned, you can see from here that they were very respectful about banning Chinchilla. It wasn't like an attack, it was just them banning somebody from their server who broke the rules of it. Then we have them once again. This is them in their server right before they cleared out their server, before the server got deleted. You can see here, like, Joss of Death is Chinchilla Lace. And server is tainted. If it is a purge you want, then it is a purge you get, and then promptly deleted the server and then backed off the internet. Like, I can't remember the exact timeline between Lace dropping off the internet, or Lace deleting their server and then dropping off the internet, but I think they were very close together. Again, now Horse claims that Magpie launched the attack against Lace's server, and Magpie had known people from the Woodbine Coven who orchestrated the attack. Put attack in quotes. Again, like, this is the attack. You know, it was somebody posting a meme about Lace in their server. That's it. That was the full attack that Horse likes to pull all the time. But as you can see here, this happened at on August 20th, 2022, and it happened at 6:41 p.m. I believe these came from the same person. Like, the same person sent me these 2 screenshots. So then this happened. Then Magpie, welcome to Woodbine, and then you see August 20th, 2022, like nearly half an hour later, and we have confirmation. We do have Magpie's first messages with Mug, who is the person who orchestrated the attack, and it had nothing to do with them at all. Like, it had nothing to do with the Lace situation. It was like a commission to do like Jesus Gangnam style. But Jaws, like, they don't know. It seems to be a mod. I think it was Mug who banned everyone. Like, they don't know. They're talking. This is Magpie talking with somebody else, asking about discussing who they think the owner and the mods are, and they don't know. They have no clue. And then, like, this Magpie saying they don't want to get involved in whatever went down because, again, they arrived late. They're just here to post art. And then, yeah, here's the screenshots between Mug. They don't go by this anymore, so I blurred it out and replaced it with like Mug's handle. So anything in red in the screenshot is gonna be Mug. And so, like, as you can see, can you animate Jesus doing Gangnam style, and then like, and as you can see, this happened 2 days after the initial attack, so Magpie did not know Mug at all. Then here is a conversation between Horse and Magpie. Horse went by this at the time, holographic hippogriff, which Horse / Griff, they changed their name to Griff after this document was posted. So, as you can see, you can pause to read this. I don't think this is particularly important or necessary for me to like stop on, but if you want to read this, you absolutely can. This is the last positive interaction that Magpie and Horse had before they stopped being friends, and this was over a week since the server had gone down, since Lace's server had gone down, and Horse was still communicating with Magpie, not suspecting them to have been involved with whatever happened. And if you want to see, we're going to get to this in a minute, but like, if you're reading it on your own and you want to skip to it, Magpie's goodbye message to Horse, visit slide 21. And the story with Lace. And then here's very interesting. You'll notice this is more of a side note than anything, but here are screenshots of Lace, Horse, and someone else discussing what happened in Lace's server. Lace had to have other people tell them who participated, and no one ever mentions Magpie. So, cross the name blank, being a part of the server. Their name is so familiar to me, but I can't place it. Was one of the people who, like, blank was one of the people who helped me get doxxed. Oh man, that sucks. Should have known. Yeah, sorry, Lace. I don't. Like, you can. None of these names are Magpie. Complaining to blank and blank to get to Horse. Probably had a hand in blank pooted as well. Most of them are cowardly stirrers who are happy filing crap from behind their wall but freak out if they have to do it face to face. This is going to be funny later. This one ages like fine milk. Then I guess more than 95% of the old server just hated my guts all along, blah blah blah. So yeah, so as you can see here, they never mention Magpie. They're talking about all these other people who I don't want to get involved in this. They're not. I understand that it's that it there are a lot of names being circulated here. Like there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but like none of them even mention Magpie, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, let me go back to the top slide. Okay, no, I was mistaken. I thought that maybe these were, around the same time as each other. But no, these are very far apart. What I was saying, like, no one even suspected Magpie, even after Horse and him stopped being friends. No one even suspected Magpie. This is something that Horse made up after the fact. And then, the story with Lace. No one in this document, no one who made this document, and we talked about this at length when we were making this, no one holds any ill will towards Lace. There is some regret over what like happened or how it went down because they thought it could have been handled more maturely on both sides, but they don't hold any ill will towards Lace. Again, all the screenshots I shared with you regarding like moderators and all that, none of them were like attacking Lace. They just one posted a meme and then other people were telling them to get therapy. It's insane. It's insane how all this shook out. And it's unfortunate that someone got ran off the internet for it, but no one who made this document holds any ill will towards Lace. And like once again, I wish that I didn't have to include this. I wouldn't have had to include this at all because Lace isn't relevant to this conversation again because they're not on the internet anymore. Horse to this day continues to spread a false version of the events, not just about the story of Lace, but with other claims. And the only reason I included Lace in this call out was because Horse continuously blames Magpie for what happened to Lace when it's not his fault at all. Alright. Now, the next accusation is Magpie owing them money. Like a substantial amount of money you saw is what they put. So this accusation is basically referring to a trip Magpie and Horse took together from the 2nd to the 8th of August 2022 while they were still friends. In the following section, there will be screenshots of Magpie's financial contributions to the trip compared to how much Horse contributed. This will also contain conversations between Horse and Magpie, as well as conversations between Magpie and another one of his friends in regards to the aftermath of the trip. The friend's username will be censored. So we fit as much as we could receipts-wise on this sheet, and you can see, so here like we're already racking up 1,000. Then we have some more taxis and stuff like that, restaurants, more things like that. Then we have more receipts, ones that wouldn't fit on this slide, things that we wanted to include. Just invoices in general. Then like we have these like 136, 7482. Did we include those? I feel like 7482 was included somewhere. No. Okay, never mind. I'm just crazy. Alright, 13606, 7482. And then we have, this is very interesting. This is something that I put down here in this paragraph. The last two screenshots, the one where Magpie spent 88.50 at Castlefest. This one might need some explaining. Basically, at Castlefest, tokens, you need to have tokens to be able to buy things at the event. To get these tokens, you have to pay real money for them, and you can exchange them later whenever you're about to leave for like your money again. But so Magpie claims, and like this is cash, so we don't have any record of like what exactly they spent this on, but they claim it was food. They claim that they spent this 88.50 on food. And Horse's comment underneath that screenshot where they pay the 88.50 is saying that they will pay for meals. Hence, I will pay. I feel bad to have someone pay for everything for me. Hence, I offer to pay for any meal expenses. That's how I generally do things when I'm going out with friends. So even when Horse says that they will, for effect, pay for all meal expenses, Magpie still ended up paying for some of their meal expenses. So, like, in total, we tallied it all and we put it in the calculator app, and you can check the numbers on all of these if you want and run it through. You got to convert the pounds to euros because the total is in euros, but for some of these, wherever it's in pounds, just convert it to euros and then put the total of euros in. And we totaled up to almost $2,000, $1,781.06. Or sorry, euros, not dollars. But still, that was an insane amount of money. And then in the next slide, you see how much Horse claims that Magpie owes them. And like as you can see here, like they say that they are like they paid this much, and that half of that is this much. And and even if like we ignore Horse is claiming that Magpie owes them, but notice that even if they hadn't cut the original amount in half, 648 to 324, Magpie paid nearly triple of what Horse did for the entirety of the trip. So, and then this is Horse down here saying, I prefer to contribute. I'll admit it does make me feel a little bad. Like, again, this is Horse saying that they prefer to contribute in some small amount. So them saying like, hey, I wanted to contribute here, and now because I have contributed and we're not friends anymore, you owe me this much money despite you never invoicing me for even half of this, which is really funny to me. And then like here again we have them saying like, when are you gonna pay the 300 plus euros you owe me? Gotta say jumping ship and cutting ties without paying ain't a good look. Again, this is if we're doing things based on what's fair, Magpie should be invoicing Horse for this money and not the other way around. And yeah, I really don't think that Magpie owes Horse anything. And weirdly enough, so this next slide, we have confirmation that Horse only claimed Magpie owed them money after the friendship ended. Remember that their trip occurred from the 2nd to the 8th of August, and it was only after the friendship ended on the 29th of that same month did Horse vocalize that Magpie owed them money, a whole 3 weeks after the trip. Also, this conversation with Magpie. This is a conversation, so we have some screenshots here. But Horse even admits that they don't have any evident like screenshots to prove that they said that Magpie owes them money before the trip went down. They say it's apparently a verbal agreement, so it is very much a a he said they said situation. But I'm going to stick with Magpie because they're the only ones who have provided substantial evidence on this, and so they're the only ones who've given me literal receipts on this. And I'm more inclined to believe Magpie than Horse on this because Horse has been known to exaggerate and lie, and from what I can tell from the evidence, this doesn't reflect that. So let's go ahead and look at this convo. So this is Horse talking about Dad. He was glad to hear we had a good time. They did have a good time. It was a lot of fun. We should definitely do it again in the future. Maybe blank would like to come to Castle Fest too. I'm sure she'd love it there. I'd like to meet her as well. She seems nice. Yeah, but there's always next time. And then like they had a good time. They were on good terms. The trip went well. They were happy. No mentions of payment whatsoever. Then after their friendship ended, Magpie made a post. Or sorry, not made a post. Magpie sent a message to them basically saying that they didn't want to be their friend anymore. And as you can read it if you want to. I'm not going to stop and read through it. You can pause and read it if you want. But I'm going to look at the Google Doc call out that Horse made on the 6th of September 2022. This is included in here. I made a copy of it because in case it got deleted by Horse, I wanted to keep a copy of it for this document so it wouldn't disappear. So this is a copy of it. For the most part, it is Right, no, this isn't the link to the call out. Sorry. This is a link saying the date of the call out. Because here is the link to the actual call out. And you can read it if you want. It's pretty long, but it does include these messages, and it includes other quote-unquote evidence. I recommend giving it a read, if for nothing else than to read it alongside this document that I have, and to just compare evidence. Because other than me censoring out Magpie's face, Magpie and Horse's face, and blurring out some usernames, it's completely undoctored. I haven't messed with it at all. It's just a it's as it came in its original form, minus things that could potentially, get people harassed online. And then yeah, like I recommend giving it a read. Like please read it, please. It's so funny. And then the next accusation is the Groomer Friend one, where they said that Magpie willingly associates with someone who's a groomer. And we don't have any screenshots to really disprove this because we have no idea who Horse is referring to here. You can stop and read this if you want, pause the video on this slide. And then we only have instances of Horse claiming Magpie is friends with the groomer, where they don't elaborate. They can't go into the details of it conveniently to avoid evidence. So should I mention that she's happily supporting a groomer? I can't go into the details of that, but just to point out the kind of company she keeps, and yep, use me to gain her platform on the Owl House fandom. However, and then again, another snippet from another conversation where Horse, however, they choose to get cozy with people who are, and there's documented evidence, groomers, users, manipulators. They say there's documented evidence, but they never provide it. Or does it continue? And okay, so yeah, that's the end of the groomer segment, just because we don't have any indication on who the groomer is. Whenever they responded to this post, which I will get to after we've completely gone through these slides, I still comment that they still haven't given any information about the groomer thing, and they don't respond. They don't bring it up at all. So as of this day, we still don't have any confirmation on what the hell this accusation is even meant to be about. As far as I know, this is literally just something that Griff pulled out of their ass. Then we have Discord doxing. So basically, this is what Horse considers doxing. Magpie and somebody else made a call-out post where they put together a list of Horse and a couple other people whose names have been blurred out. And they're saying these people on Discord are they're pro shippers. One of them they seem kind of sus. If you have these people in your server and you think that they're violating your rules, take them out. Take them out of your server. And all they did was give out Discord IDs, username and user ID, which I'm going to go ahead and read off this paragraph right here. Needless to say, this isn't doxing. Revealing a Discord username is the equivalent of giving out somebody's Twitter account name. Discord has safety measures that allow you to filter who is allowed to talk to you. Discord IDs themselves are just specific account identifiers that are public and can be copied by anyone, even those who aren't friends, and can be used to pre-ban someone and or manage users within servers who have changed their username. It's ironic. Oh no! I didn't notice that this got cut off, but it is ironic that Horse would call this doxing because Horse has posted Magpie's actual face online and others without permission. So while that technically isn't doxing either, it's considerably worse. Funnily enough, it's a trend for Horse to accuse Magpie of doing something only to turn around and do the same thing they accuse Magpie of, but worse. And then here is a screenshot of basically saying their Discord handle was public at the time anyway. And again, the old call out, the IDs were later blocked out by the person who made the call out with Magpie, and they decided to use that as ammunition. See, it is actually doxing because they decided to blur it. And then I put here in the notes section, the only reason why you would blur out social media handles is if you want to avoid people from contacting those mentioned online, to keep them uninvolved. For the case of a call out that was meant to warn another Discord server owner about what members might be breaking their rules, this is perfectly in line with what is to be expected. Nothing out of the ordinary was done here. And then that's all we have to say about the Discord doxing thing. For the friends harassing others claim, The only instance we really have of what they're claiming is this is Mug on Tumblr. I think this is like a throwaway blog, that's why I didn't censor it. But also this is from the call out post that I mentioned earlier that Horse made that I linked above. So if you want to see that screenshot without like the big blocky red arrow through it, you can look there. But Magpie, there's no verifiable proof that shows Magpie was in any way connected with Mug. Even if Magpie did know Mug at this point, Mug already had negative interactions with Horse due to conflicts in their own servers. And in the absence of verifiable evidence tying Magpie to the situation, I have to assume that Magpie was uninvolved. Because, like, at this point, we saw the only screenshots they had together. It was literally them. It was Mug asking for a commission and Magpie directing him to someone else. That's it. There's no I don't think that Horse and Mug, or not Horse and Mug, Magpie and Mug ever were friends or close friends enough to be able to orchestrate something like this. This honestly feels like Mug kind of having a little emotional response to what happened with the Lay server, or finding out some other drama with Horse, because there is some other drama not related with Magpie that they've been involved in. So this very well could just be a negative experience of his own, and he decided to act out on it, not Magpie's fault. Here, and again, this is in the call out that Horse did. Yes, I'm convinced that Magpie told Mug where to find me. Her anti-harassment stance is really not looking so great now. Again, no evidence provided. No evidence provided here. Literally just an intuition, gut feeling. Later on, for debunking another accusation, we'll provide screenshots, multiple, of Horse literally dodging the question of if they have evidence of Magpie doing something they claim he is. That'll be on slide 37 if you want to check it out, if you want to skip ahead and then come back. And so that's really all we have of friends harassing others, again, because that's the only instance we can really find of somebody going out of their way to message Horse and call them names. Like, that's it, and it wasn't even like a friend of Magpie. So this is art stealing. This basically boils down to 4 points. Horse says that Magpie stole from a friend of theirs, but they won't say who it was stolen from, but we strongly assume it's to do with this conversation shown in the upper right. This is a link basically showing the screenshot. This is the exact same screenshot, but taken later, so you can see the date that it's on. Let me go ahead and click on that. There you go. There you go. And the next few slides we'll talk about this, but I want to get through these different reasons first. So the second art stealing claim that Horse likes to do says that Magpie is mass producing a candle and working with the shop to profit off them, basically exploiting the shop to work with them. And that is ridiculous, and we'll get to it. Horse says Magpie traces the art and that he sells the traced art as merchandise. And that is, if you've followed any of Magpie's art or watched any of his live streams, you know that that's a big load of shit. And then reason 4, Horse says Magpie lied about being the one to convince the Owl House crew to release the full Hollow Mine portraits on Twitter. I don't even need to like pull these off to other slides. This will literally just be these 2 external links. So let's see here. So here's them saying, like, made a Yankee ass animation, claims Rebecca posted the HQ version to the Hollow Mine paintings thanks to her, and then here's the screenshot basically saying, like, oh yeah, this is because of Mags. Hey, is this true? Because yes, I will genuinely cry of happiness. Basically, when Hollow Mind aired, we knew we didn't want to post the portraits right away, but as time went on, we kind of just forgot to post them at all. Your portraits kind of jogged our memory, so we posted the official ones from the show. That's literally that's all the evidence I need to prove that last point wrong. It's really funny how easily, with just a little bit of searching, you're able to disprove pretty much anything Horse says. Alright, but we're coming back to this first one, because this will be the one that these first slides are talking about. Horse says Magpie stole from a friend, and like this is the stationery that they say that Magpie stole from them. This is the original artist saying this. They have has me blocked. This is Magpie has confirmed to me that they didn't block this person, had no idea who they are, and hadn't even seen their stationery. And then makes a claim that Magpie was selling their stationery. Again, another book claim that Magpie was actively selling their journal border on the Etsy store. And then like here we see, this is very important, here we see somebody coming in and being like, I just looked on Etsy and I don't see the stationery. And then this is Horse basically saying that they'll take anything, even though like this thing hasn't been verified, the stationery thing hasn't been verified by anyone, and somebody just looked and checked and saw that there was nothing to show for it, and Horse said that they'll take anything, the more the better, anything to get these people out of the fandom. And so notice how no one, even the artist, bothers to actually verify if the stolen stationery claims are true, except for one person. They don't find anything, and even then Horse just says they'll take anything, which is pretty self-explanatory as to why evidence is never provided for their claims. Here's another instance of them doing this. I'm going to let that load for a second, but we will come back and show that. Oh, it's already done. All right. Of course, she accused me of all these things and twisted the evidence to make me look bad. That's why I'm out for blood. If I can, I will ruin her career. I don't give a shit. That's literally them on multiple instances, saying that they will ruin Magpie's career any means necessary, whether or not evidence is verified or not. And as you can see here, Horse added it to the list of accusations, which are originally linked on slide 4, tried to steal from a different friend. Then we have the Pro Ship Takes blog, which again, if you look at the alt document that I made on slide 4 that shows that they, or is it slide 3? I think it's slide 3. If you look at the alt PDF, you see that this is them. And then like this is Horse again on their Pro Ship Takes blog, going into even more detail about Magpie apparently stealing something from their friend on their Etsy store. Notice how no evidence is provided for these pretty serious claims. Unlike Horse, evidence has been provided on the next slide that Magpie didn't steal anything. The next slide will start up the showing that Magpie didn't steal anything. So the Tumblr posting the border the artist created, this is not Magpie, this is someone else. Then Magpie wasn't even the one who used the stationery. Someone used a combination of Magpie's Philip journal font in the artist's border and then posted the results under Magpie's font posts. So Magpie nor anyone else stole anything for profit. Like you see Magpie's font here, then the Tumblr post showing the journal font Magpie created. This comment made by another user under Magpie's post showing the combination of the artist's border and Magpie's font. Then they said it's literally amazing how we can make Philip's journal. And Magpie says, that is so cool. You even replicated the little ornaments on the corner of his pages. Actually, I made the page. This is the artist who accused Magpie of stealing. Actually, I made the page that blank used. It's posted here. One last here. Can I zoom in a little bit? I feel kind of bad making y'all like I'm squinting my eyes. I know y'all are squinting your eyes. This is so cool. You even replicated the page at the corner. Yep. Actually, I made the page blank used. It's posted here. It's an open resource, but I did ask to be credited if it was used. And then this is them responding to the person who made the post. Then they, like, the person who did it is super apologetic. I didn't see that part right. If you want, I'll delete it. Then they said it's alright. I don't mind it. They don't mind. So they weren't mad. So again, this is the artists themselves clarifying that, you know, no harm was done. It wasn't Magpie. It was somebody else completely. And then you'll remember the second thing about art stealing was the candle company. Magpie stated several times they do not make money off of the candles. They are not sponsored by the people who make the candles. Magpie simply uses their scents and promotes their store, but Magpie does not make money off of the candles or the scents themselves. And you can see this is Magpie posting about the candle store, and then this is Magpie once again promoting the candle store on their Instagram. And then these are the cards that are sent with the different merchandise that Magpie gives from their Etsy store. You can see like Magpie spritzes the letters that they send with people that they post in the packages. They spritz it with whatever scent that they want to use. Usually it's Emperor's Coven, and it always comes with a card saying like this comes from this store. You can find them here. Blah blah blah. And this is the scent profile that we use. And then like we can see conversations between Magpie and the candle brand. And as you can see, Magpie just promotes their products simply because he loves them and there's no theft or exploitation happening. He loves their products, like you can see it. And then you can see the candle company is more than happy to have the to have Magpie partnering with them or like promoting them with their stuff, so they're more than happy to work together. There is no exploitation going on. There is no money being made. Magpie's not stealing from the candle company. This is one of the dumbest accusations I've heard. And then Horace likes to say that Magpie stole their scent profile. And then like yeah, this is where they're saying like they had a custom candle made about Philip. And see, so we have wild. This is the scent they use. So wild accents, mirth, and white birch. That's the three. Those are the three. And then you can see all of the scents that Magpie uses for their different scent profiles, and I can see one overlapping scent out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of this one. And then there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different scent profiles that one can get, and none of them have any other overlapping scent profiles. So I think it's pretty clear that this wasn't stolen. Like it's it's very silly to think that, oh, I used white birch in my candle, you can't use white birch in yours, even though you also use firewood, woodland snow, sandalwood, and like all these other different scents. You can't use white birch because that's mine. I coined it. That's very silly. And then the third point, Horace likes to say that Magpie traces a lot of their art. There's multiple instances that Horace likes to point to, and Horace likes to claim that Magpie traced the design from the show and sold it to a few select people and friends in the server. Well, yes, Magpie intentionally made a t-shirt that was supposed to mimic the fan shirt from the Coven Day Parade show from that one episode of the Owl House. So, like, this is the shirt that Magpie made. And then here's the shirt from the show. It was meant to look like official merchandise. They were only given out to a handful of friends, and those who asked for the link to purchase one. Horace even knew about the shirt because Magpie told them about it, and they liked the idea. And I made a comment here, so if you ever check out these documents, you'll see the comment here. Horace liked the shirt idea when them and Magpie were still friends, and yeah, so saw Magpie wearing it in person when they went on their trip together. Horace made no negative comments at the time about it being traced from the show. And like there are other instances of the parade shirts being sold online, not by Magpie. And we even have someone in Horace's server talking about how they were going to how they traced Chibi Velos and like is using it to promote things or to sell it as merchandise on Etsy, or not Etsy. What is that? That's Redbubble. And of course Horace had no problem with it when it was them. And then here's the other Emperor's Coven shirt by someone who's not Magpie. Again, like there's more instances of people making merchandise that's supposed to look like merchandise from the show, and the only reason that they're getting angry at Magpie for it is because it's Magpie. And then Horse also tries to use the same logic for a plush design Magpie made off of the same Chibi Bellows shirt. I'm not sure how one traces a plushie, and this is their Tumblr post, basically leading to the to their give my computer a second, it's loading. This is Magpie talking about the doll design. As you can see, like there's multiple angles it's drawn from. It's not traced. It's just referenced from the show, which is again not anything that should be like talked about or worried about. Oh yeah, this is also pretty debunked. You don't have to. It's kind of silly that Horse lies about this. You can see there are two new angles Magpie created along with a design for the bottom part of the chibi, since its full body isn't shown on the shirt. It's obviously not traced. It's just referenced from the show. And then another art tracing thing. And this is somebody who came in. This is somebody who was in Horse's server for a while and was asking about evidence. They were asking for evidence regarding like the tracing allegations, and this is what Horse provided in terms of like how Magpie traces their stuff. And as you can see, I included the both Horse and Magpie talking about the progress of this as it was being made, and also the final. This is the canvas, so you can see like they're referencing Philip's little pose here, but not outright tracing it. They're just referencing both the face shape and also Philip's pose here without actually tracing it. And if you actually look here where they line it up with the overlay, you can see where like the eyebrows don't match up, the nose doesn't match up, even the ears don't really match up, because like his ear comes all the way down here and their ear's off by quite a fair margin. So like his ear's higher up here and Philip's ear is down further. The only thing that you can say really matches up is like this little line here that makes up the face profile, but even then, like it doesn't match up completely anywhere else. And again, like you can just kind of read through this if you want. I'm not going to just read through every message here, but you can. Oh wait, no, actually, I think I am going to read through this a little bit, just kind of skim it, give you the basic rundown. I'm still. Can you link me the proof of what you're saying, or frames of Magpie tracing? I'd appreciate it. Still working on it. Even then, it wouldn't be everything since it's a lot. Then why are you making claims without the evidence handy to show people? That's some you got something, right? And then like they posted this. Well, if you have time to go over IDK how many art pieces frames of Owl House by yourself, I'd love to hear it. And then it's like, my brother in Christ, have you heard of using references? Basically, they're saying like, put it side by side. I want to see it. They're once again dodging. Horse is once again dodging. If you don't mind waiting, I can do it later. I must get ready to go to work, and I don't work on my laptop, sadly. Then a lot of evidence I lost access to. Conveniently saying that you lost access to evidence. Meanwhile, I am somebody who's new to this, has been working on this document for 3 weeks and managed to put all this together. If there was any evidence, they would have it. They don't have evidence because it doesn't exist. Combing through what is effectively 2 years of Discord DMs for the relevant info is time consuming. True, I get that, but when you're calling out somebody as big as Bird, but you gotta have the evidence. Then like they're talking some more shit about Magpie, basically saying like Bird bitch claims I stole their art, and then like they posted onto their own blog without credit or without permission. And taking and re-uploading somebody's art onto your own blog without the artist's explicit permission is still stealing. You don't own the rights to that work. even if you think like it's not gonna be a big deal, some artists probably won't care if you like credit them, but you still should probably ask before you post their art. Otherwise, it could be considered like stealing the art. Again, this is call out is being kept as private as I'm aware, and this is changed after one of my friends publicly called out on it. I didn't send death threats because they didn't send death threats. At least guessing you're confusing that from an uninvolved auntie. Okay. And then like they're saying like, wait, I thought that this was like supposed to show doxing. This is just Discord IDs. And then they thought that they're basically asking if like there was anything even remotely close to doxing in this. I'll chill for now, but you got me worried because like there isn't evidence being shown because it hasn't been posted yet. It's still being worked on, but you have evidence, don't you? I do. Then post it. What's the hang up? It hasn't been going on for a year or something. And then like again, this is just them going back and forth dealing with like basically talking about like where's the evidence. You can't just say stuff without evidence. Where is it? And then like, again, they're saying that this is it's insanely dodgy. It's a massive red flag when somebody gets this defensive when somebody asks for evidence. Like this person was definitely overzealous, and I think that they like were a bit too aggressive whenever they were asking for it, but like this is it's still a very valid point that they were making. You can't like make claims like this without evidence, and this person, Horse, presented no evidence to this person. And yeah, after this, the person was kicked from the server. We were also able to provide screenshots from Horse's server after this interaction. So like you can see here, I'm not gonna read through all of these. You can pause to read if you want, but this is basically people saying that the person was being suspicious because they were asking for evidence for Horse's claims, like actively saying like they were probably like an auntie or somebody trying to get Horse because they were asking for evidence for claims. And like it's very silly. It's very dumb what this is. So if you want to pause and read it, you can. And then, needless to say, this is extremely troubling behavior. The mindset that releasing evidence when asked is harmful is outlandish. One should not get defensive when asked to provide verification for claims that they make, especially when those claims are meant to ruin someone's career or life. Hostility in place of authentication is an indicator that there is no evidence to give, and claims without evidence should not be taken seriously. Ever. And then, the next allegation, we have Magpie, the art stealing the OC. Basically, Magpie has this OC called Lizzie, and around May 2022, they role played with Horse using this OC. And then after Horse and Magpie stopped being friends, Horse proceeded to take Magpie's OC and claim it as their own because they role played together and they kind of developed the character that way. They believed that they were entitled to the character, even though Horse never actually role played as Lizzie. They were always Philip or Bellows. And then like the call out that Magpie made that Horse loves to bring up like up here. This is the Magpie call out that they keep referencing. It basically says that they were the rightful owner of the character. That was all the call out was supposed to be on Magpie's side. And then Horse proceeded to rename the character Mary. Well, Mary's story was like a ripoff of Lizzie. And then a message from Magpie. Really wish like they didn't want to make the OC X Philip stuff public because it was something very personal to them in private, and they didn't like it when Horse posted it in public servers. Like, they were sharing the work without permission even when they were still friends, and even that wasn't okay because they didn't want their work or their character being shared in those spaces. It was supposed to be something personal between them and friends. And we have Magpie making the character. He you can see like the design he made, the backstory, the everything of this character. This is like the first instance that we see of him mentioning it publicly. We have Horse and Magpie talking about it. This will go on for the next 6 slides. I'll scroll slowly so you can like pause to read this. And you can see just a whole bunch of Magpie and Horse being friends and also describing like the character together. And this is not Horse, but I don't think that this is a Horse. Yeah, this is Magpie in a server basically explaining the character, but still this is just Magpie explaining the character, and this is proving that the character is Magpie's, showing that this is theirs that they made originally. Then we have Horse and Magpie talking about this and just gushing over it, talking about different ideas for it, talking about different storyboards and ideas. Then we have the first instance. Actually, notice the date here. It's the 18th of August. Then notice here. Where is one with a date on it? Here's one. Here's one with a date on it. It's the 31st of August. So after the after their fallout, we can only assume that these are after that. You can see them start to say that isn't this Magpie's OC? No. So they're like full on denying that this is Magpie's OC, even though like you can see from the sketch, it's very much like you can tell it's them up here. You can tell that this is the same character. And then this again, technically he's not wrong. And just and then whenever they do credit Magpie, it's always this like don't actually mention them by name, but like slander them vaguely. Don't say their name, but slander their image anyway, so people like feel less inclined to go look for their stuff. Then again, here are some other Horse blogs that Horse made. Here are some roleplay blogs that Horse made regarding the character. This was when they originally made the blog, and they kept the name the same, Lizzie, and biostudent art was gifted. Basically, Horse created a blog. They claim false ownership over her, including their story and re-upload of Magpie's art for the character whilst calling it gift art, implying they wrote everything Magpie drew art for. They did this mere days after Magpie had ended their friendship. Art that was gifted to me. Again, just you can see you can see their blog and how they're basically calling it, not crediting a Magpie at all. More art, best story I've ever written, basically taking credit for the entire story. Then instead of having an actual crediting to Magpie in a way that was like supposed to be like, hey, this is art that this person drew, they instead again made it about slander. The artist being supportive of people who are known abusers is a hypocrite and a thief. Like, again, not really showing any evidence for this, just saying it out in the open and then not providing any screenshots for it or evidence whatsoever. Still need validation from fan art interesting that Horse claims Magpie needs validation from fan art whilst they are literally trying to build an audience with Magpie's stolen art and character. Then I assume by this point, people who are familiar with Magpie's art and character, Lizzie, were starting to notice that the content on Horse's blog was clearly stolen, so word likely began to spread on Tumblr and in servers. I also assume that people took it upon themselves to go to Horse's blog or DMs and grill them about the content, which realistically cannot be blamed on Magpie since they cannot control what others choose to do of their own free will. Horse also never uploaded any evidence to Magpie encouraging others to harass them, nor did they provide proof that these harassers were buddies of Magpie. I personally am not sure how Horse expects to not get backlash when re-uploading Magpie's character and art when content theft online is heavily frowned upon, and Magpie had already shared their art and story for Lizzie on their blog in several servers and with friends. And then here's their third edit, basically once again saying Magpie sent these people to harass them, which is not the case at all. Jesus, this video's been going on for over an hour. Where are we? We're we're only halfway through. Okay. We're not even halfway through because I still gotta deal with the Tumblr fallout after this. Okay, and then here's after they remade the blog again, Humanity Forget You. This is the blog, December 25th, 2022. You can see that they changed the name to Mary, but the bio is still the same. Notice how the name of their mom is still the same, and also their full name is still Elizabeth. And you can just see different instances where Horses this isn't traced, but it's very heavily referencing Magpie's art. You can see this actually happens more than once. There'll be more than this instance, and in screenshots showing that these are very closely correlated. Then we have once again claiming that this is their character, acting like this is theirs, following the adventures of Mary Taylor. And then this is the exact same kind of bio that their other blog had, where it was just Lizzie. And this is actually really messed up because we have permission from Magpie to reveal this, but Magpie says that Mary was their dead name and Horse was aware of that fact. So Horse only chose the name Mary as a personal dig at Magpie to make them uncomfortable. And then to add insult to injury, this is Horse basically admitting that Mary is the improved version of Magpie's OC and that they're deliberately going to age down this OC to spite him. And you can see them talking about the OC and all that. Then you see some more of Magpie sharing some of their stories with the with their character and showing storyboards and all that. Here's a scene of the Firefly scene with the storyboards and all that. And then okay, so notice the date on it. It was the 14th of June. Then here, if you come down, it's the 15th of September, and it's basically Horse stealing Magpie's Firefly scene that Magpie wrote in the storyboards. And then once again, Magpie drawing the an Angry Birds headcanon that they talked about versus 4 months later when Horse took that and used that too without credit and basically claimed that they used that. Then you can see that this is Here, Magpie sharing their idea for a cute hairbrushing scene between Philip and Lizzie, complete with a drawn image, and you can see like the work in progress versus the final product, and then you can see them talking about it and the day that it happened. And then you can see, and then here's Horse heavily referencing. If you put them side by side, you can definitely see the resemblance here. Like they basically took this and then like tried to redo it, and it's it's really funny. It's incredibly funny how Horse is claiming that Magpie is stealing art, and then here they are, basically like it looks like the meme. Can I copy your homework? Sure, but change it up a little so it doesn't look obvious. It looks directly copied. It's uncanny how similar they are, and it's very funny to see it. More of their ideas. This one's about Lizzie sacrificing a finger to the collector, and then Horse in the bottom left brings up this idea again later, like several months later, and it's just, and then again here, the idea, the rooms, the seeds, everything regarding their character, and then you come down here, it's like she has a big farm. That's why she carries seeds on her. Like blah blah blah. Seeds. It's a lot. It's a lot to show that there's a lot that they steal from Magpie. Here's the irrational fear of geese again. Like that's almost a full month apart. Then we had a role play together. Notice how Horse finally tells the truth. That's in stark contrast to what they initially said on slide 53. Additionally, Lizzie was not exclusively for their role play. Horse likes to claim that Magpie stopped drawing this character because he can no longer mooch off of Horse's writing. Again, really funny considering the screenshots earlier showing that Horse stole multiple ideas off of Magpie, but Horse is claiming that Magpie stopped drawing the character entirely. If you look at the date the message was posted, which was, I believe in the server it'll be month, day, year instead of a day, month, year. So in their server it'll be in this server, in this screenshot, it's month, day, year. So it's the 2nd of June. Then we come down here. This is December 2022, which is them drawing the character. Then we have December 2022 again, April 2023, which is getting closer to the date that they said that they stopped drawing the character. June 4th, which is 2 days after Horse claims that they stopped drawing the character. July 19th, another image. And then as I was making this document, Magpie made some tutorials on their Tumblr page that includes their character. Includes the character that Horse claims they don't like draw anymore. So it's really funny that just happened to come out when I was making this document, because I love it. I love having evidence drop on my lap as I'm making a call out post. It's fantastic. But yeah, there's absolutely no evidence to support the idea that Magpie stole this OC or was ever mooching off of the contributions. If anything, Horse is the one mooching off of Magpie. And this is a pattern of behavior I've noticed with Horse. They did this with several people, including Lace and one more of their ex-friends. Here's a link to a PDF that shows how Horse will turn on a dime and begin to slander the person who they perceive to have turned against them. Here we have I think this is Lace they're talking. No, this is their friend they're talking about. This me and friend are joining forces to take down these clans. I hope blank wants to come in here one day. She's lovely and would love to have her. And then like later, their friend leaves and like you see black bar, they're talking about the same person. You see, I guess that explains it. And then like the friend leaves and says, hey, I'm no longer going to be part of the Owl House fandom. This blog is no longer active. That's why I feel comfortable leaving this link up. But yeah, so this is basically their friend saying, hey, I'm leaving, I'm not coming back. Then yeah, this person was here when this thing hit the fan. Then they left without saying a word. And then this is Horse doing the exact same thing with Lace. Basically, we don't have instances of them talking about Lace before they left, but then like we have them talking about it afterwards, and you can see them being upset that Lace left without saying anything. It really does show how Horse will turn on a dime and begin to slander the person who they perceived as a friend, because the instant they leave, they turned against them. And then we're going to go to another document where Horse got into a drama that doesn't involve Magpie. It was somebody else. It was a minor who they accused of condoning child sexual exploitation material. And it's very interesting how you see like their posts. You say, multiple times, I don't like or want pro shippers interacting with me. Then we have like their posts. They put their post up right up against pro ship takes, which is Horse. You can see they basically copied pasted the same message, stealing their posts without credit, because I don't even know what was going through Horse's head at this point. I think that they said that they didn't want to interact with the blog at all because, like they said, no pro shippers allowed, so they just opted to steal. And then another post from this person, basically like without the pictures, but if you look at the text, that's the same thing. And then the minor called out Horse for blatantly taking their posts. And then, like, if you want to read this full document, you can. I'm not going to like stop and read all of this. This can be for your own time, or if you want to pause the video and read through this, you can. And then this is Horse accusing the minor of condoning, child sexual exploitation material. And then here is Horse basically being like made an auntie mad. And then this person like snapped at them and said, like, you're not saying the full story. Why don't you say the full story? You're lying and I don't want anything to do with you anymore. And then like Horse trying to defend themselves, I didn't steal anything. And then so TLDR, they're trying to justify it by saying that they saw that they were an auntie, so they decided to steal so they wouldn't have to, associate with them or interact with them. Putting the tags that they stole, and like they did steal, just because you try to put it as a lighthearted joke doesn't mean it's not stealing. Obviously, tagged me, someone told them I threw a whole tantrum, didn't read what they said. You can reply, they didn't read it. So, added in the tag, at least I don't condone. And again, like no evidence, they just throw these things out. No evidence. They just say, well, at least I don't condone like this thing that you, person I've never interacted with before, at least I don't condone sending blank to people. Because there have been multiple cases of aunties sending like this to people. But they literally admitted they just said that because they were annoyed and that they didn't know if it was valid or not. This is, you're an adult, so you should know better. And I mentioned down below that this is, that Horse says that if someone tells me that I should jump in front of an oncoming train, like, I don't care how old this person is. The minor never said anything like that, and like you can see up here, like you can read through this, like they didn't mention anything about like death threats or anything like that. I have no clue what Horse is going on about. It's very strange how they decide to project onto the minor like this. It feels like they're grasping at straws. It feels like they're grasping for any reason to explain why they, a 30-year-old, aren't in the wrong for stealing a minor's post and then accusing said minor of supporting something horrible. Yeah, and then the person who called them out, they got added to the anti list later. They got added to the anti-list, which is on slide 105. Then we move on to the exploitation claim. Horse likes to say that Magpie used them as a stepping stone to get like all nice and cozy with the rest of the fandom. Like you can see down below, like they're saying like, oh, Magpie exploited me. But the following screenshots and frames will be basically their arguments with other people before Magpie that didn't include Magpie. That kind of shows that they butt heads with nearly everyone that they were in a server with. People, they didn't have a very high standing in the fandom to begin with. So the idea that Magpie used them as some kind of stepping stone to get cozy in the fandom is laughable. I'm not going to stop and read all of these. You can pause the video. I'll stop with each frame and kind of run through it. But they were basically mad because they had an AU idea and somebody had a very similar AU idea and said, hey, that reminds me of my AU idea. And then people started talking about it. They got mad at that. And then Horse blocked the person. It's very, very silly. And then like here's them talking about it with Magpie after the fact. Horse never knew any of the creators they showed Magpie the content of. They showed Magpie the content because they enjoy the people's content, and then after they stopped being friends with Horse, Magpie took the initiative and began collaborating with a bunch of YouTubers and other individuals in the Widowbane fandom. And Horse likes to use the fact that they collaborate with a bunch of creators whose content that they like, that they're doing it, that they exploited them. And it's very silly. You can pause and read this this slide if you want to, but it's very silly. The entire accusation that Magpie ever exploited Horse, or that Horse was ever worth doing anything exploitable, is really funny. The idea that Magpie could potentially exploit Horse for something like this, it's funny. Because again, Horse never contributed anything meaningful to what Magpie did. It was just Magpie saw creators, liked their stuff, and then took the initiative to approach them first. It's very silly. I don't know what else to say about it other than it's silly. Alright, now we're moving on to the Slandered section, which is where Horse claims that Magpie and their friends harassed and slandered them online. In all the months I've followed Magpie, I've never seen anything like that. I think I've been following Magpie for half a year now, and this was before I contacted them. I didn't know anything about them or any of this drama, because they don't talk about it. They don't talk about Horse. Them or their friends don't talk about Horse publicly. It doesn't appear anywhere. I followed Magpie for 6 months, commented on their post, reblogged their posts, said that I loved their artwork and how they did artwork. And they never once brought up Horse or like complained about them. But then I knew Horse again. I knew Horse for maybe a day and a half, and I had all the ins and outs of the different allegations that they have against Magpie. So this is not going to be a compilation of Magpie's friends shit talking Horse, because we don't have any, because it doesn't exist. But we are going to have instances of Horse going on to social media and shit talking Magpie to anyone with a pulse. So we have them on Facebook. I blocked out their name because this is their legal first and last name, and I didn't want to have that there out of like, that would actually be doxing, and I don't want to do that to them. And this is them on Facebook complaining about Magpie and basically slandering them. Then again, you have like the call out from them. The call out from them that's like, again, this is the exact same call out, so that's how we know it's Horse. She uses the exact same talking points across all platforms. And we have more from Horse. Then like they use Magpie's personal. They got the name wrong. They got the name wrong for Magpie on Facebook, so they never actually like gave Magpie the right name on this post. So it's just the first name correct, last name not. But this is actually very interesting because as much as Horace likes to say that Magpie doxed them for giving out Discord handles here, they are freely giving out names. And like basically linking them to his Magpie's his businesses so they can, complain or, just spread the word about not wanting to buy from them. It's funny because Horse says that they're trying to avoid Magpie as much as they can, but I think that what Horse means by they're trying to avoid Magpie, like Magpie himself, they're trying to stay away from Magpie's view because they don't want Magpie seeing what they're saying about them, because they know that Magpie could actually shut up the conversation because they have evidence while Horse doesn't. But yeah, so much for trying to avoid Magpie literally complaining to anyone with a pulse. Then we have more. This is them in Discord again complaining about Magpie, the stolen money thing. We have I wish I'd seen the red flags before, but I'm just too nice. This is them referring to Magpie again. This is really funny. I'm just too nice. I didn't see the red flags. Very silly. Very interesting that Horse criticizes Magpie for having Bellows tattoos, even though Magpie had once designed them one and posted about how excited they were to have it done. This is them. Then, like, this is them basically speculating that Magpie draws comm ship art secretly, despite not having evidence for it. This is not the first time they bring this up, but it's very fascinating to me how they'll just say this very boldly with no evidence. Just, oh yeah, let's just accuse this person of having a secret blog where they draw pornography of fictional children. Like, sure, why not? Include that. It's it's very dumb. And it's just so slanderous for no reason, and it's just like, I bet this person has a secret blog that they don't show anybody where they draw like pedo porn. Okay, buddy. Then role playing, like they rag on Magpie for role playing. This is again in their public server. This is accessible to anyone who asks Horse for a link. This has like lots of members in it. This is their public server. Anyone can join. Anyone can see this. This is them talking publicly in their Discord about Magpie. And this is them saying that Magpie doesn't get Bellows' face right. This is me saying that Bellows doesn't even get his face right half the time. It's it's very silly. It's very dumb. Then this person, again, this is more talking about like they're using their experiences from other fandoms to be like, oh, they're basically saying my friends did all this and blah blah blah, so I bet Magpie does this too. And then she does literally everything she does is for attention. And then they're saying that Magpie's art quality took a dip, which I put here. Like, I'm an animator. I went to college for this shit. I know how long art takes. Being able to push out animations is like commonly as frequently as Magpie does is very impressive, and I haven't really noticed a dip. Animation's just hard. Like if you look at their still images of their art, like these, it's still very well done. It's well rendered and everything. Animation's just harder to like have consistency and charisma. And even then, Magpie does a really good job. Their animations are really consistent in quality, and that's impressive. And then like more of them like basically stealing the OC, and then here's Horse claiming that they're not mad about Magpie, but they will throw a fit if anyone mentions Magpie or his work in passing or on any forum, whether it's related to Horse or not. And like there'll be evidence of this in a few slides. Give it a second. We'll get to this in a second. Then we have this person we have these stating how they tried to actively sabotage Magpie in a YouTuber's comment section when they realized they were collaborating together. Horse later went to this YouTuber, to their public ad to this YouTuber. Sorry, I'm stuttering so bad. Horse later went on to this YouTuber and added them to their public anti list because he had refused to listen to them. Horse even goes as far to say he supports harassing and doxing simply because he works with Magpie. Again, we've had this YouTuber look over this document before we posted it. He had no idea about any of this. He didn't even remember Horse coming in. He was very upset about learning all of this. While Horse wasn't involved in this conversation, what Horse said on the previous slide about the YouTuber and Magpie has clearly rubbed off onto other members of their server. Not only are they spreading slanderous lies about Magpie, but this is having an effect. This is why I wanted to make this document, because you can see it in action. This is not just harmless. These are people who are actively against Magpie because of claims that Horse is making without evidence. You can read through all of these and see just how hateful they are. Then here's them on Twitter, reacting them coming out as non-binary. This is them talking about it, and this is them reacting. And then this is people come once again, just more slander. They're actively telling people not to buy things from their shop. More slander. Just pause and read through these if you want, or just look at the document in the link below in the description below if you want to read through all these quickly. I'm not gonna stick around and look at them. I'm just gonna pause for a second, maybe let you pause if you want to, but you can see the different slander in their Discord servers. Then you can see on Twitter again the plushie thing. More people coming in and quote unquote learning about this, and they just don't stop. They never stop trying to here they say that Magpie will straight up come to this person's house or send people to their house to harass them, saying it's not safe to buy stuff from them because to mail the packages to you, the post stamp needs the package needs to have your address on it so that they can send it to you. Then just do not buy anything from their shop. Then this is them talking about Magpie in November. This is them talking about Magpie in December, last month. You can see this is almost exactly a month ago. A month and 5 days ago. Then you can see this one person on Tumblr not knowing about what went on, and then Horse's response to them. This is Horse's responding to an anon. Then this person comments about Magpie not knowing about their beef, and then Horse reacts horribly and blocks them instantly, not giving them a chance to learn about it before they block them. Just being very hostile to whenever the name is mentioned. And if you want to look at how this was resolved, they ended up, the person who originally mentioned Magpie in this ended up blocking Magpie just to get Horse to calm down. And that was the only time that Horse backed off, and you can see it in that screenshot there. They continue to actively seek out and post comments or reblogs to any post mentioning Magpie to tell them how horrible person Magpie is. Again, they go onto Twitter, up here you can see they go onto Twitter and just bash Magpie for no reason. Then again, the tracing thing. Again, this is just really dumb. This is them basically convincing people. This is a person who's convinced not to buy from Magpie's shop, that they shouldn't buy from Magpie shop because of accusations that have no evidence to go along with it. The evidence they do link every single time is a document that I link in this post because it's just so unsubstantial that you just don't It's barely even like a drop. You don't even feel it. Like this, there is nothing they have, and it's so dumb to see people look at this and look at the claims they make and not even bother trying to verify it. And then here's their block list. It has I blocked out all of the names except for Magpies because I don't want this would just be unnecessary to have. It would be very irresponsible of me to have their names in this when they haven't done anything wrong and they're not part of this discussion. So yeah, that's Magpie, and then like you can see the first names of some, there's the first letters of some of their names here. Like you just keep going down here, and there's a lot of antis on here. Then I'm gonna go ahead and show you this comment really quick. Horse used their actual email tied to their first and last name on the original out of basic decency. I wanted to make sure their name wasn't exposed through this call out. Many of the names mentioned here aren't relevant to the discussion, and I don't want to draw any unnecessary attention to their internet handles if I don't have to. I'm very, very straightforward. I'm very clear about that. I don't want anyone to be harassed, and also I don't want Horse to be doxxed. Like, I know they're horrible, but I don't want them to be doxxed. And also, this list doesn't differentiate between actual antis who harass others and people who Horse associates with antis. So you could be fully in support of pro shipping or even be a pro shipper yourself, but if Horse believes you're too buddy-buddy with someone they label an anti, you're instantly an anti as well. And you can kind of see down below, at the very end here, they have one of their friends, one of their mutuals, like they name drop a bunch of people from this list who are supposedly, like, they asked for comship art, which makes sense because this list doesn't actually have antis on it. It's a weird amalgamation of antis, like non-anti, like pro shippers that just happen to follow an anti or like the content of an anti, or people who are neutral, who don't like bother. So like there's an amalgamation of a whole bunch of people on this list. So just take what they say with a grain of salt. Then this is me saying, hello, this is me. This is a message to Horse. This is me typing directly to them. If you want to read it, that you can. I'm going to pause right here and let you. I just don't think it's that important. Then here's to affiliates. And this is basically to people who are in Horse's Discord server, who I blurred out the usernames of. And I try to make it seem as understanding as I can possibly be. But at the same time, I want them to know that they are also partially at fault if they engaged in the discussion of just bashing Magpie for no reason. I wanted to let them know that they are partially at fault for this. Like, they have some guilt on their hands. It's very messy. I just wanted to let people know that, like, even though I'm not going to oust them, it's still very scummy what they did, and they should be better. And on the next segment, we're going to cover the original post that I made and the call out, how it was handled by Horse in their Discord. That will be more scripted again, simply because it's more screenshots and just things that I don't have like posted publicly, just things I wanted to save specifically for this video because I wanted to have a nice clear cut image of like what they were saying in their Discord and how they were reacting to this post going up, how people, not just Horse, but how other people were talking about it in their servers and how they reacted to the post going up. So I'll see y'all in the next segment. Once I had posted my call-out document on Tumblr for the first time, I knew it was only a matter of time before Griff responded to it. And boy howdy, did they not disappoint. The first messages appear in Griff's public Discord server, where they express where they need to lay low. They actually think that the call-out is in retaliation to the first convo we ever had, where they expressed the want to kick this blurred-out person out of their server, to which I said go ahead. Also, hilariously enough, one of their members down at the very bottom of the screenshot says that Griff has entire folders of evidence that they refuse to share, and then they try to say that we're jumping through hoops to dig up dirt. Keep in mind that none of them have actually properly read the overview document yet. They're only assuming what it says because of what Griff is telling them, but they won't actually go and check it out for themselves. Griff then responds to me officially on Tumblr. Once again, you can tell they never read the document at this point, because they don't even bother trying to refute any of it, and they actually go back on the rant about the person who has nothing to do with the overview document. I know the screenshots are a bit blurry in this video, but I will be leaving a link to this convo in the description below so you don't miss out on anything that was said. They regurgitate the same old BS that they accused Magpie of before and provide 3 screenshots, all of which are Griff's friends talking about this callout that Magpie did without actually showing any evidence of harassment. We covered the fact that Magpie released a callout that had Discord usernames and IDs in it. That's not new information. What Griff is saying is that Magpie harassed them. They still cannot provide evidence that any of that happened. Immediately, I zero in on the essay allegations, because it's the only new and somewhat interesting thing Griff has said in their post. I'm still not able to do anything about that, but wait to see what their response is, to see if they'll give me more information about said allegations, so I'll have a better idea of what they're referring to. I call Griff out on the fact that their screenshots don't prove their point, because they don't show anything substantial, and then I add a note at the end basically calling their bluff about working on their own call-out piece. Once again calling attention to the fact that I am a newcomer who managed to put a document like this together in under a month. Horse then responds with a newer alt with no followers, I'm assuming because they've realized that having open discussions with me on their blog is not a good look for them. Funny how that works. And then they try to make a jab on how I work fast, so they should be given leeway on the fact that they can't even produce evidence that actually shows Magpie and co harassing them and others. Their proof is other people's words with no evidence to back them up, and then calling on a mob mentality of, there's a group of us, we can't be wrong, even if no one from their side can provide anything meaningful. I'm going to go ahead and let these screenshots stay on screen for a moment, because Griff really is the gift that keeps on giving. These are just more screenshots of people bashing Magpie and anyone who sides with them, all while the other side is only voicing disbelief that Griff is still doing this after years of this drama. It really does make Griff look so much worse. Once again, I call out that Griff's evidence isn't groundbreaking, and that we've even included it in the slides already, but that the segment they're talking about wasn't referencing them, but another user entirely. The part with the screenshots is explaining why the other person was called out, and I was very thorough while explaining it. Then, I comment on how they're hypocritical for calling what the people said in that Discord chat shit-talking, when we have an entire 25 slides dedicated to showing what actual shit-talking from them looked like. I once again call them out for deflecting, reminding them that the post was about clearing Magpie's name, so why do they bother with bringing up randos who are responding naturally to a call-out post? I then mention the fact that their claims are still without evidence, and that if they ever manage to make a proper document with evidence that actually backs up what they're saying, then they can start expecting people to believe their claims. I want you guys to pay attention to this bottom paragraph here, where I call them out for using an alt instead of their main account. I listed all of their alt accounts, or at the very least all the ones I could remember off the top of my head that were on Tumblr, and this is where shit hit the fan. Up until this point, Griff's Discord had been relatively calm. Griff was complaining about the posts I would make and saying that I was another harasser for releasing the doc and demanding a proper rebuttal. But I think that this is the moment that they realized I wasn't backing down, and that I knew the different names they tried to hide under. They went ballistic, saying that I was stalking them, which is funny because you can see in the PDF linked on slide 3 that shows Griff's alt accounts that they openly stated on several occasions that they are the other alts. It's not like I had to dig for this information. They then start kicking random people out of their servers, hoping to boot whoever was sympathetic enough towards Magpie to leak their chats. Here's a screenshot we have after the first wave of kicks. It wasn't long after this that Griff made an update changing their name from Horse to Griff. I couldn't see the post directly because they had me blocked at that point, but someone screenshotted the post for me, so I got to include it in my response. The update doesn't really say anything of note, just more whining about how unfair it is that Griff got their ass handed to them publicly. This is also around the time that random anons or other blogs also began trying to call us bullies, some of them even saying that we went too far by making this post and that we handled the situation terribly, because yes, Griff can make as many slandering posts as they like, but the moment we called them out on it, we took it too far. It's insane because one literally admits that they never read the document and that they don't plan to. A lot of the people who haven't read the doc still believe that it is meant as a call to harassment, or that Griff exclusively talked about Magpie in private and I dragged their beef into the open. When you look at the slides I just got done going through, that is not at all the case. We may be calling out Griff's crummy behavior, but fundamentally the document is meant to serve not as a hit piece for Griff, but as a proof of innocence for Magpie. At the same time, though, there are lots of people who have read our document and are encouraging other people to read it too before they form an opinion. It's actually really nice to see that. I honestly wasn't expecting to see it so soon after posting the doc. I thought it might have to take a little bit to gain traction, but I'm happy to say that there are people who are learning the truth and are trying to inform others. In the end, that was all I could hope for. I know it's impossible for us to convince everyone of Magpie's innocence, but as long as the broader community stands up and puts an end to the lies, I'm happy with how this worked out. To catch you up fully on how this ended, though I suspect there will be more instances of people on Griff's side that continue to call me a bully after this, I did want to tell everyone that Griff made a post on one of their alt blogs that said they will be leaving the Owl House fandom indefinitely. In their farewell message, they said a bunch of insane stuff, so I'm going to go over it with you. Firstly, they say they weren't harassing Magpie, but the point of the document wasn't to claim harassment, but rather to address the needless slander and shit-talking on public forums, discouraging people from buying from them, actively being hostile towards anyone who supported them, etc. Then, they claim most of the screenshots were taken in private discords, which, no, was not the case. These discords weren't private, they had tons of members because it was open to anyone with a link, and Griff would provide links for anyone that asked. And then they actually do acknowledge the fact that they were shit-talking Magpie in public as well, which was the entire point of why we made this document in the first place. The entire document was us saying that Magpie isn't guilty of the stuff that Griff accused him of, and then with a little side note of Griff was shit-talking Magpie to everyone on Earth who would turn an ear to them. And then they go on to try to say that we think that callouts are bad, that you shouldn't make callouts, which is not at all the point of this, and is not at all true. Callouts aren't bad. We're saying that Griff's callout was bad, as in badly put together. It was shit. It didn't have anything even remotely damning about Magpie. If Magpie had actually been a shit person and Griff had successfully made a well-sourced callout with an abundance of evidence, I would not be making this video. If the situation was swapped, I actually would not mind Griff's callout. The problem with Griff's callout is that it's shit and that Magpie isn't a bad person and they have no evidence of any of the things they accuse him of. Then they claim that I left their friends identifiable because their profile pictures weren't blotched out in the doc even though their usernames were. You know, the same profile pictures that Griff just mentioned 3 paragraphs ago changed several times throughout the document, making it harder to know who is who, so it's obvious people can just change profile pictures again after the document drops, which we have already seen some do. Not to mention, they claim that I want their friends to be harassed, despite the fact that I've actively said multiple times to not go harass Griff or anyone else for that matter. Basically, this is the same shit they pulled for Magpie's document back in 2022, only instead of Discord IDs, they've moved the goalpost to changeable profile icons. When they pulled this stump for Magpie, they only doubled down on calling Magpie a quote-unquote doxer when he changed the document in compliance with their demands, and still call him a doxer to this day. I think that covering usernames is plenty. Like I said, profile pictures can be changed in literal seconds. They're just going to try to use this as ammunition when it's nothing substantial. The next sentence after that paragraph is also really strange. A neurodivergent person talking about their OC isn't sexual harassment, which, if you recall, was something mentioned during the Tumblr aftermath after I posted this doc, and it feels like they're intentionally misdrewing what went on there. It wasn't someone innocently talking about their OC, it was someone continuously making inappropriate comments and discussing lewd headcanons about their character to someone who had repeatedly said that it made them uncomfortable. Talking to someone about that sort of thing when that person has made it clear that they don't want to is sexual harassment. It's the literal textbook definition of it. Next, they mention the pro-ship stuff, even though that was never really talked about in the document. Like, I don't like any comship ships, they just make me uncomfortable, but I never bashed Griff for being a pro-shipper in the doc, because frankly, the document wasn't about that. The closest thing you can get to anything resembling pro-ship bashing was when I showed the screenshots of them talking about aging down Magpie's OC so that they were a minor in a romantic relationship with a middle-aged man, and the fact that they did that just to make Magpie uncomfortable. But it doesn't surprise me that they'd say this to get sympathy points from the pro-ship community, because they've been using that label as a shield whenever they're faced with anyone who dislikes their horrid behavior. They then go on to say, in typical Griff fashion, that they have plenty of evidence, but they aren't going to share it. Because of course they wouldn't. They have nothing substantial and they know it. And finally, they send off their farewell message by calling us an endearment slur. Isn't that so sweet? But yeah, like I said earlier, there are still people trying to defend Griff at this point, and I don't think they're going to stop anytime soon, just because they seem to be really keen on going down with the ship. That being said, I want to reiterate that if you do find anyone online who is defending Griff or hasn't read the document, I don't want you to go harass them. If you do choose to speak with anyone about this, I ask that you do it in a respectful manner. So far, everyone I've seen sending anonymous asks and questions to people have been really respectful, and I just want that to continue to be the case. I know realistically I can't stop everyone who sees this from being rude, because there are just people out there who are like that, but if everyone could do their best to be kind and respectful to the other side, I would really appreciate it. Well, that just about covers everything, so thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.